Welcome to another episode of Have You Seen It? I am Charles, and I am with the lovely Denise. How you doing? We're just cracking up here. I'm talking about we just cracking up here today. All right, we just cracking up today.
Fix that, mister.
All right, and we talking about all kind of stuff. The producer actually cracked the funny. That's very rare. And so we just started off just busting up laughing today. All right, audience, we hope you're doing great. It's going into the winter. All right, it's a little chilly.
Yeah.
Right, but we're gonna still keep going on. So Denise, let's start it off. What is your recommendation? What movie you recommend for our audience today?
I'm recommending? Yes, okay.
You are recommending.
Okay, I'm recommending a Netflix original starring Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga, Andre Holland, and Alexander Skarsgård, and a lot of other people. The name of the movie is called Passing, and this Netflix original takes place in the 1920s, Harlem, New York. And Tessa Thompson's character, she plays Renee, and Ruth Negga plays Claire. They are old high school classmates, and they bump into each other one afternoon, and Irene thinks she knows who Claire is, but not quite sure. And the same with Claire, but Claire realizes that I know you. Don't you know me? And so they go through this, not sure. Well, they realize that they did go to high school together, but Claire is looking a little different these days. Claire is passing for white. Both women are light-skinned black women, but Claire is much lighter than Irene. So, after they have their initial meeting, Irene meets Claire's husband, who is played by Alexander Skarsgård, and he is quite the racist, and lets it be known that I don't like black people. I can't stand them. And so Irene looks at Claire and she's like, wait a minute. You actually living with this man and he's feeling this way and you okay with it. So right there, she's all messed up in the head. Well, Irene lives in Harlem with her doctor husband, very successful. She's a mother. She's got two tweener age boys. They even have a maid. And so in Irene's world, she is somewhat of like a community organizer. She's, the head of, like an organization, and they're, where they have fundraisers and parties and so forth and so on. And so Claire is like, I like what's going on in your life. Can I go with you to the next party? And so she does and lives it up. I mean, and the black men are just eating it up because she's light and bright and damn near white, and they're loving it. And she's having a good time. She's flirtatious. She's carefree. She's don't have a worry in the world. Husband's out of town for a while, so she's able to attend all these parties and so forth. So you have two friends who, Irene is like, how can you live the way you're living, but like what's going on in my part of town? You have Irene and her husband who are at odds raising their sons in this racist environment. The husband is more realistic about what their children are going to encounter as black males as they get older. And she just wants to protect them. No, everything's good right here. We're fine. And then you have the husband who reappears, and he comes looking for his wife. And she had a party with a bunch of black folks. So I'm just going to leave that there. And the ending is quite dramatic. Okay, but it was an interesting film. It was filmed in black and white. So the cinematography was quite interesting, and you have the costumes, fabulous 1920 era costumes. Now, if you know Tessa Thompson and you know Ruth Negga, they are more caramel colored black women.
Right.
But in this movie, to give you the perspective of how Ruth Negga was able to pass in the movie, she looked more like our friend Mariah Carey. So that is why she was able to pass, because Mariah Carey, although she's biracial, could pass for white. And then the other character looked a little bit more like Alicia Keys. So when she was in that white world, like the 1920 era, women wore hats a lot. So she would tilt her head ever so slightly so that a white person couldn't get a really good look at her, because she was able to shop in more expensive stores and go to certain restaurants. Just tilting her head just a little, she was accepted.
Right.
So that is my Netflix recommendation.
Okay.
Passing.
The pass. And she's passing it over to me.
Yes, there you go.
And so my review today is Red Notice, starring Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. I think I got that right.
Is it Gal?
I'm going to say Gal Gadot.
Gal
Okay,
Gadot.
so Gal Gadot. So, Special Agent of the FBI, John Hartley, played by Dwayne Johnson, is tracking Nolan Booth, played by Ryan Reynolds. John believes that Nolan has stolen one of the 3 priceless eggs given to Cleopatra by Mark Antony. And I think it was for their wedding. All right, so he catches Nolan and catches him with that rare egg. So they got the egg in hand, John's got Nolan in hand and the egg, and who comes along is the bishop, played by Gal Gadot. And she steals the egg from John. And so now John and Nolan team up together to catch the bishop and also try to find the 3rd egg, which has been missing for centuries. Okay, so simple plot, very simple plot, but it was tons of twists in this show. It's tons of, I can't tell you everything because I give away a lot of spoilers, right? But it was tons of twists in it. It was funny as heck. Ryan Reynolds in it, so it's gonna be funny. But all the characters were funny, and great action in the whole movie. Johnson and Reynolds hit it. They've already been in movies before, so the chemistry was excellent. And though Gadot was the villain in here, she mixed in beautifully with him. So this was 118 minutes of fun.
Okay.
All right, and so I strongly recommend, and I'm gonna give it a rating of a B.
All right.
Of Red Notice, a Netflix original.
All right, thank you.
So, who is your nailed it?
All right, my nailed it is the late great James Garner from the movie The Notebook.
Okay, you got me on this one. I was like, James Garner?
Yeah, James Garner, because the first time I watched The Notebook, I really believed that he was just a nice gentleman who came to an assisted living facility and read a book to a woman every day.
Right.
The second time I watched it, I realized that he was actually the love of her life and her husband, of whom she could not remember, but he read to her their love story every day, and he made me cry. Once I realized who he was and what he was doing, the compassion and just amazing love he had for that woman, even in her worst state, of, Alzheimer's was just beautiful to watch. So my nailed it is James Garner.
Okay, so my nailed it is Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz in The Mummy. This movie was a good remake, right, of a C or D movie of old times, right? Fraser and Weisz, they had great chemistry in this movie. Rachel as the damsel in distress, but she was smart as a whip. And Fraser as the Indiana Jones type. They just both nailed the character, and they nailed the character in conjunction with the time period of the movie, which is in the 1920s. So my nailed it is Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz in The Mummy.
Okay, folks, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And we are available on every podcast platform in the universe. Just type in, have you seen it, with Charles and Denise, and there we will be.
Audience, thank you very much for joining us for another episode of Have You Seen It with these two guys back here. And we are out.
Bye-bye.